what's taking so long with this Epstein files?
Yeah, what's up with that?
What is up with that?
Epstein's clients had a good run until Joe Rogan and Elon Musk teamed up to expose celebrity elites on the Epstein list. The king of podcasts and the king of Twitter, X, have teamed up to rip the lid off this never-ending mystery. And let me tell you, you want to hear what they have to say.
And he had all sorts of things.
Right.
Like there's a mountain of evidence.
Right.
So where's that mountain?
But before we get into what's really going on behind this botched document drop and the missing evidence, we've got to talk about the Great Epstein Files Vanishing Act. So let's get this straight. Epstein had mountains of evidence. We're talking tapes, flight logs, videos, and probably enough blackmail material to make politicians sweat through their expensive suits. Yet, somehow, when it came time to release this so-called bombshell list, we got nothing new.
Is that what's taking so long with this Epstein files?
Yeah, what's up with that?
What is up with that?
Like, seriously? Where the hell is all the evidence? Who's sitting on this mountain of dirt? You and I both know that if this was anyone else, they'd be in an orange jumpsuit faster than you can say double standard.
We have a serious case of no one's being arrested ophobia, you know.
Yeah, exactly when is that day coming? I mean, let's not forget, Epstein's entire job was blackmail. He wasn't just flying rich people to his creepy island for vacations, he was actually documenting everything. So, where is it? Did it get accidentally shredded? Did someone use it as kindling for a cozy FBI office fireplace? Or is it just gathering dust in a classified folder labeled "Do Not Open Until 2075"? No, the truth is, it's the celebs who really don't want this list coming out.
Known Epstein clients who are obviously extremely powerful, powerful politically and very wealthy are, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Reid Hoffman.
Clearly, some people are sweating bullets over this list because their names are on it. We're talking big names like Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, and probably a few Hollywood A-listers who suddenly got very quiet on Twitter, if you know what I mean.
Going on?
What the is going on? Also, there's this real fear that someone's destroying the evidence.
Joe and Elon aren't dancing around this. They've flat out called out the hypocrisy. How come Maxwell's in prison for trafficking minors, but somehow none of her clients are in trouble?
Here's the real question, what could even be in there at this point that they haven't cleared out? If you've got paperwork from 1963, what is in there still?
How does that work? It's like arresting a dealer but letting all the buyers go free.
How do you put someone in jail and you don't even name the clients? That sounds kind of insane.
Rogan joked that at this point, people like Gates and Clinton must have an in-case-of-emergency PR strategy ready to go. Because let's be real, yeah, the second this list gets fully released, it's gonna be a Category 5 media hurricane. And people see that. People really don't understand what money can buy. The rich are paying a fortune to not have their name on the list, and both sides are taking the money. Now let's talk about our new friends at the FBI and the Lost Evidence. The same organization that could find a guy hiding in a cave halfway across the world can't seem to locate the biggest blackmail stash in modern history? Sounds a little fishy.
There has to be some sort of financial entanglement, some sort of relationship with the people that are on that list.
Yeah.
That they can provide a value that was big enough for you to not release.
Joe and Elon pointed out that Epstein's properties, including his infamous island, were raided. They had hard drives, documents, security camera footage, all of it. But somehow, when it comes time to hold people accountable, all that evidence just disappeared. It's almost like someone high up doesn't want this information coming out. Gee, I wonder why.
There would have to be something in it for them to agree to not put it out.
Elon even joked that if anyone really wanted to find those tapes, they should just hire some tech nerds.
You know what we need are people who are really good with computers.
Let's be honest, some 17-year-old hacker with a gaming laptop could probably find them faster than the feds at this point. But the FBI, with all their tech and networking systems, can't? That can only mean one thing. It's simple. The FBI is in the business of blackmailing. These people are more valuable to the FBI if they are not prosecuted. And then there's the fake document drop that fooled no one. Remember when they said we were finally getting the list and everyone got hyped, expecting to see some serious names exposed? Yeah, what we got was a pile of old documents from 2015 that we already knew about. Of course, Rogan was not impressed.
Those people that were given a copy of it, they were all like waving it around like they got the Willy Wonka ticket.
Yeah, totally.
He basically said this whole thing was just a way to stall and make people lose interest. Keep promising something big and then deliver some absolute BS until the public gets bored and moves on. Classic government move. But the question is, who's protecting who? Everyone knows if this was some random dude running a trafficking ring, the government would have dropped the hammer on them in 2 seconds. So why does Epstein's case keep getting handled with kid gloves? Well, Joe and Elon have a theory. It's because some of the people in power are the ones who need protecting.
Why was Reid Hoffman so intent on destroying Trump?
Do you think it's because they're worried about the list coming out?
If even one of these big names gets officially tied to Epstein's crimes, it would open the floodgates for lawsuits, arrests, and absolute chaos in elite circles. So instead of real justice, we get the slowest, most frustrating cover-up in history. Every time we get close, something comes up. New distractions, more delays, and a bunch of legalese nonsense that keeps everyone just confused enough to stop pushing for answers. One of the most interesting things about this whole case is the difference in social media versus the mainstream narrative. The mainstream media barely talks about it. Like, they'll do a quick headline when something drops, but then poof, it's gone from the news cycle.
It does not imply knowledge of his alleged crimes or involvement in them. Nancy Chen has more.
You know who is talking about it? The internet. Elon pointed out that Twitter, X, whatever, is keeping the story alive because people aren't relying on TV news anymore. If it weren't for social media, the Epstein case would probably be buried deeper than the Titanic. The only reason people still care is because the internet won't let it go. And let's be real, if the full list ever does drop, it won't be through CNN. It'll probably be some rogue Twitter user with a burner account posting the whole thing at 3 a.m. Now here's the million-dollar question. Will the list ever be fully released? Will we ever see the real, unedited, complete Epstein client list, or is this just one of those mysteries that stays locked up forever? Joe and Elon aren't convinced we'll ever get the full truth, but they also know that public pressure does work. The more people demand answers, the harder it gets to keep this thing hidden. At the end of the day, the list exists, the evidence exists, and as long as people like Joe and Elon keep shining a light on it, there's still a chance we'll finally get the whole story. But until then, you can expect more delays, more distractions, and a whole lot of powerful people hoping we all just forget. I mean, there's literally a truckload of Epstein files out there.
Apparently they discovered a whole bunch of stuff at the Southern District of New York.
Right.
Pam Bondi recently revealed that an actual truckload of Epstein documents just got delivered. Yep, an entire truckload of files apparently landed at the Southern District of New York, and the FBI started sifting through them.
A source had told me where the documents were being kept, Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents.
But here's the problem. How much of this will we actually get to see? Bondi made it clear that while they're working on getting more documents released, the FBI's track record isn't exactly inspiring confidence. They already botched the case once, and now we're just supposed to trust them to be transparent? Right. Let's not forget, we've been here before. Every time they dangle some huge release, we get a carefully curated pile of redacted papers that tell us nothing new. So what's in this truckload? Are we actually getting the receipts this time? Or is this just another crappy distraction to make people think progress is happening? Because last I remember, there was a mysterious case of lost evidence. Speaking of the FBI, Pam Bondi exposed all their spectacular failures in handling Epstein's case. The most damning revelation was that the former head of the New York FBI field office, James Dennehy, was forced into retirement after being accused of withholding evidence.
He claims he was forced to retire, but in a letter to his office, he says he was not given a reason for that decision.
Wonder what that was about. Jesse Waters took things even further, bringing up an interesting connection. James Comey's daughter, a key player in the Southern District of New York, was involved in the Epstein prosecution. And yet, we're still not getting the full picture? Weird how that works. Musk and Rogan have already said what we're all thinking. How do we keep losing key evidence in the most high-profile trafficking case in history?
people that are on that list,
Yeah.
that they can provide a value that was big enough for you to not release it or to slow release it or to hope you can get away with like putting out some redacted files that don't show anything.
Seriously, the FBI can track a random dude's texts from 5 years ago, but they can't seem to locate Epstein's blackmail stash? Either they're really bad at their jobs, or someone's making sure this never sees the light of day. And don't even get me started on Ghislaine Maxwell's get out of jail free card. Yeah, just when we thought this case couldn't get more ridiculous, Ghislaine Maxwell is now rumored to be angling for a presidential pardon. Yep, the woman who literally helped run Epstein's operation might try to walk free, if she's willing to talk.
I obviously wish I'd never met him. Looking back now, I probably wish I had stayed in England.
Now this raises a lot of questions. If she does talk, what names are going to come out? How deep does this go? And more importantly, is she actually going to give up anyone major, or is this just another distraction? Bondi made it clear that letting Maxwell off the hook without taking down the rest of the people involved would be the biggest slap in the face to Epstein's victims. But if she does start naming names, well, you can bet a lot of big bad people are going to have some sleepless nights. Yet for now, the cover-up continues. But for how long? At this point, it's obvious. This isn't just about Epstein. This is about protecting the entire network that allowed him to operate. And that network includes some of the biggest names in tech, politics, and finance. Bill Gates, Leon Black, Reid Hoffman, their names keep getting thrown around, and yet nothing happens. Musk and Rogan are right. If this was anyone else, the FBI would have gone scorched earth on them years ago. But instead, we get delay after delay, excuse after excuse, and just enough new information to make it seem like something is happening. But here's the thing. Social media isn't letting this go. The more they try to bury it, the louder people are getting. As long as people like Musk and Rogan keep pulling at this thread, it's only a matter of time before the whole thing comes out. So yeah, this fight is far from over. What do you guys think? Is this whole thing a massive cover-up? Or do you think we'll actually see justice? Let's hear it in the comments. Just don't get yourself put on a watch list. Don't skip this next video, because you're gonna love it even more.